And hello fellow tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks. And today I bring you a game in my Tier 6 Chinese light tank 5916. Now I don't play this tank very much, guys. Honestly, it's sitting in my garage for no particular reason. It's just there. I didn't get a chance to play it that much lately. Believe it or not, this is the only game I have played this week on WOT. I just didn't have time to get on at all. And my only game this week that I've played is actually an Ace Tanker gameplay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just present it to you guys, and we're gonna talk about light tank strategies, especially how not to throw your tank away. And that's what I want to focus on here, because I had plenty of opportunities in this game to throw my tank away, but proper decision making when you're in a light is what can skew the game in your favor, especially at late stages in the game. So that's what we're going to talk about. By the way, my apologies for the third person replay mode. Unfortunately, this was the only game that I played, like I mentioned to you guys, and I didn't have my computer hooked up, so that's the reason for it. However, in this particular game, it doesn't really matter if I had the first person view or third person view, simply because of the way the game turned out. I don't do a lot of shooting, I do a lot of spotting and a lot of close quarter fighting at the end, so it wouldn't really matter in my opinion. But again, my apologies for that. Now, as you can see, the matchmaking is not the best for me. We're actually in a tier 8 matchup, so we're in a tier 6 vehicle that doesn't have a lot of penetration at all. I think standard shells on this tank have penetration, I don't know exactly, I think they're under 160 millimeters, and then the premium shell penetration is 180 millimeters, which again is not good enough to go through tier 8, especially heavily armored tier 8s. So my main job in this game is spotting, and it happens so I got a really good map for this tank, because you can just spot along the middle ridge here and pick up early spots on the opposition, try to figure out where they're heading. The problem here is that it looks like the enemy's pushing down the one lane, and we don't really have much support on this side of the map. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just poke over that ridge in the middle just slightly so I can spot them, and I'm just going to keep an eye on them and see what's happening, if they're progressing to what point. So I need to think about my safety too. I know this flank is gonna fall eventually because we just don't have enough support here, and tanks on one line are pretty heavily armored. We have a Freedom, there's 112 in there, so and we have a bunch of base campers at A6 as well. So in situations like this, guys, you need to try to take advantage of what you have behind you, and that's what you need to be thinking, and not going forward, not jumping over the ridge and flanking at this point in the game would be extremely crazy maneuver. So that's not something we want to do, but we want to just focus on our side of the map. Again, just getting close to that ridge, poking over that ridge, spotting the opposition, and as you can see now, they're getting a lot closer now. Our tank destroyer has backed off to A3 right now. Our artillery is in trouble, and this is the time, if you're an artillery player, guys, you should be thinking about withdrawing. So artillery is still sitting, but eventually they're sitting in a pretty bad spot, so they'll get taken out eventually. And you know how important artillery is on this map, being such an open map. So I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing right now, and I'm gonna have to try spotting these guys. In the meantime, I'm gonna see if I have any shots on them, because from this position here I could actually shoot across the map. But the unfortunate thing is that there is a comet right in the middle of the map spotting me constantly, so it's not a very safe position for me. I tried to take some shots at the comet, but there is a dead wreck of a tank in the middle there. I think it's an M6 that poked earlier and took a shot at me. So my shots, basically I can't shoot the comet because he's playing it smart. He's using the M6 as a cover. So at this point in time, all of my team, including artillery on this side of the map, has pretty much vanished. So I need to think about my safety. So what I'm going to try to do here is jump on the other side of the map. And my first initial thought was to go and help that medium tank. but he's really balls deep. I don't think I'll be able to save him anyway, so I'm gonna drop and fall back to my friendlies on this side of the map. Now, another option here would be to go down to what, a C3 somewhere over there and spot my opposition on the other side, because you could take advantage of these tank destroyers sitting at A6, B6. If you could spot the C3 area, and we know that there's reds over there because they've already made their way all the way out there. The only problem there is lack of presence of greens in the middle of the map. So E5. So basically, if I would go to C3 area, I expose myself to crossfire from E4, E5 area, which is not optimal. That's why I decided to go on this side on the map, and maybe what we could do is we could clear this side of the map first, and this is much safer for me because I will not get myself in a crossfire situation, and I can basically crawl up the hill at E8 or E9 and see if I can spot anybody up that hill. And if so, maybe we can clean up this side and then worry about the other side of the map later. So as you can see, I mean, the way I'm playing, I'm trying to fall to my friendlies all the time. I'm not trying to go on a crazy solo mission here. I realize how important it is for a light tank to survive until the end of the game. So I'm trying basically to pick my spots. I'm not really counting on getting damage at this point. Again, I don't have good enough penetration to do that, but my role is to spot, and that's what I'm trying to do. And as a low tier, especially in a light tank, that's what you should be doing. You should be spotting. You shouldn't be really counting on damage, because you just won't have the penetration to deal with highly armored vehicles. So I came up here looking for spots, but at the same time I've realized that in the middle there are tanks in the middle that I was trying to shoot at the Fury, I believe, there, but again, he was behind the cover. I couldn't really get any shots on him, and I've realized there's T-29 in the F7 area, somewhere around there. Now I don't have enough penetration to go through his front, so there wasn't even a chance that I should be engaging him. The only time I should be engaging him is if he shows his side. So I'm gonna try to drive up here again and see if I can get any side shots on him. Luckily, my team realized that this side is for the taking, and all of us are making a move, and this is such an important play in here, because if all of these guys would be base camping, probably would have been a loss, but because everyone has moved up at the same time, we can actually manage to take this side of the map. So I managed to track T-29. I couldn't get through his side. I was even using premium shells. One of my shells penetrates, but I don't get to take him out. So now the next step is to get closer to this comet and see if we can get him out of the game as well.
They destroyed one of our tanks. They found us.
I can't get my gun down here over that ridge, so the Swedish tank destroyer puts a big hit into him, and I just finish him off for 50 health points. So again, not a lot of damage, but those finishing shots are very important if you're in a light tank. So you don't always have to get your damage, guys, and that's what I'm trying to say in this video as well. I mean, when you're a light tank, you have to count on your team doing the shooting, and you have to do the spotting. So again, depending on the vehicle you're playing in, but this particular vehicle, he has no penetration whatsoever, so it's really good for spotting. It's got very good speed, so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to spot for our team. So here I'm looking for a shot on the artillery. Obviously I don't want to take the same route as the other two vehicles, the tank destroyer and the heavy tank, because I want to put myself in a situation where I can create crossfire. So now this side of the map is cleared. Only two tanks remaining on the enemy team. We have the tank destroyer, I believe it's the T-25 American tank destroyer, and M12 artillery. So I'm gonna use these ridges over here to come closer to what we suspect their location is, and we're just gonna try to poke over the ridge, see if we can spot anybody. Here we can't see anything, so we're gonna progress further. So at this point I'm not really concerned that I'm gonna get rushed if they're in this location, because if I am gonna get rushed, T-25, the turret rotation speed is pretty crap. So I could easily go around him, do circles, and take him out of the game, so I'm not really concerned about that. But right now I wanted to find out where they are. That's why I was kind of cresting the ridge. Like I mentioned to you guys before, with light tanks, that's what you should be doing, cresting the ridge, seeing where the opposition is, and spotting them. Here I put a hit on M12 on the move, which is quite unusual. This tank on the move is not the greatest either, but it did the job this time around. So here I'm gonna poke out. I'm aware of the artillery being there, but I was pretty sure he hit that pretty straight. I was pretty sure he wasn't gonna hit me, but you know what? Knowing this game and what happened to me so many times in the past, that could have happened. So I didn't really go over the ridge. I just kind of poked up, pulled back, and artillery missed. And that gave me opportunity to do a circle here and go around this T-25. And I'm gonna try to take him out of the game, because I know the artillery is already fired, so artillery is on a reload. The only thing being concerned here is that the player in T-25, you know, is a decent player, and he'll be able to do some crazy maneuver to take me out. He wasn't able to, so we secure that kill, and now we can easily take the M12 out of the game. So yeah, this is in a nutshell how you should be playing light tanks, especially if you're playing in a game when you're bottom tier, you have no penetration. Even when you flank and you shoot sides of the tanks, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to penetrate your shots. So your main job is to spot and create havoc. And the main thing I wanted to point out here, many times in this game I could potentially throw my tank away, go over the ridge, push through one side of the flank and try to cause chaos, havoc, get in, get out, but I chose not to do that because I saw the game was still winnable and there were still key positions on this map that we were able to win, especially the other side of the map. So I decided not to do that. I decided to drop to my team and keep giving them spots so they can provide firepower for me. So as you can see, we've picked up a bunch of medals: Duelist, Master Gunner, Spotter, Fighter, Bruiser, Mastery Badge, Ace Tanker, 12 damaging hits, 4 tanks destroyed. Relatively decent game for a bottom tier. 1685 base XP, and we managed to help our team secure the win. And this, guys, is how you increase your win rate at the same time. How? Easy. Don't throw your tank away. Be useful to your team. Light tanks are really important at the end of the game to close the game out and to provide vital spots to your team. So keep that in your mind. You might not be the best shooter, you might not be the best sniper, but if you think in a game and you make rational decisions, your win rate will improve, definitely. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this replay. Go check out CloneGuy72. Go check out Garadini. Links to their channels will be in the description section below. Happy tanking. Until next time, Space Bandit, checking out.